Has everyone in the Idaho 4 case been accounted for? Because I feel like there's still someone out there who we might not know about. Hey everyone, it's Lucky with Unfiltered Lucky. And today I want to talk a little bit about something that we've talked about before. And that is the possibility that there was another individual in this house at the time of the crimes that we're not aware of. Ann Taylor and the defense for Bryan Kohberger have filed multiple motions for discovery, asking the prosecution to turn over the evidence that they have. Now, the prosecution has turned over their small amount of touch DNA evidence, as well as the triangulation of the cell phone towers information, and of course the video of the white Hyundai Elantra. And they're saying basically that's all we have as far as physical and digital evidence. But what if they have an eyewitness? Someone who was either an accomplice or someone who was at the house who was actually a victim, but they got away from the suspect. Is it possible that a potential victim or even an accomplice, a suspect, was injured in this house on the night that these crimes took place? Now, law enforcement seems extremely confident that they have their man. They believe that Bryan Kohberger is the sole suspect of these crimes. Now, they're so confident about it that they told the community that there was no danger to the community, no threat to the community, only hours within entering the crime scene. Now, think about that for a second. If this crime happened next door to your house and law enforcement said, we don't have a suspect, but don't worry, everything's okay, your life's not in danger, you would probably have some reservations about that. Because basically what they're telling you is that they have this crazy, individual who just took 4 college kids' lives with a sharp-edged blade in your community, but everything's okay. So it leads me to believe that it's possible that investigators really don't have any more physical evidence from the 1122 King Road house. But it's possible that they have an eyewitness. And this is why they're so confident. They've been very focused in certain areas. Almost like it seems that they may have had, Bryan Kohberger on their radar a lot sooner than we've been led to believe. So maybe they really don't have any more physical or digital evidence to present to the defense. But maybe they have the rabbit in the hat. On November 13th of 2022, the day that the Idaho 4 crimes occurred, Robin Nance from KXLY News in Idaho did an on-scene lead-in breaking news report about the Idaho 4 crimes. And in this report, she was basically giving a lead-in to what they were about to air on their 5 o'clock news about the Idaho 4. Now, Robin Nance said, and I heard this with my own ears, and I saw this with my own eyes, and she said, tragedy on the University of Idaho campus. 4 students dead, another in the hospital. Now, I didn't really think too much of it at the time because there was all kinds of news reports that were just coming out because these crimes had just occurred. So later on that night, when KXLY started airing their video coverage of the Idaho 4 crimes, the part about the individual going to the hospital was left out. They never mentioned that part. Now, I didn't think anything strange of it at the time because these crimes had just occurred. So I just figured that, that KXLY was focusing on the 4 students who lost their lives. Now, when Chief Fry of the Moscow Police Department gave his first press conference, he basically stated that they had no leads, they had no suspect in custody, but he reiterated that law enforcement did not believe that there was a threat to this community or that anybody in this community was in danger from this suspect. Now, this made me believe right away that either the suspect was deceased or that they had a suspect in custody. Now, I also was thinking maybe they're not talking about a suspect that they have in custody right now because they're looking for more suspects. So it's possible, I was thinking at the time that maybe they do have a suspect, because how could you say that the community wasn't in danger unless you had eyes on this suspect? So at that time, I believed that it was possible that law enforcement had a suspect in custody, but they weren't releasing that information because they were looking for more people. When I saw this press conference, I immediately thought about the KXLY news report on the day of the crimes, because in this press conference, nowhere was it mentioned that someone from this crime scene went to the hospital. I knew that I had seen this report, and so I went back to look for this news report, and I could not find it anywhere. It's like it was scrubbed off of the earth. I've looked for it. I have other people looking for it, and that news report is nowhere to be found. Now, I know that I saw that news report, and I know that a lot of other people saw that news report. In a previous video, I talked about this a little bit, and a lot of people reached out to me to let me know that they had seen that same exact news report. So I wasn't the only one who was confused about this reporter saying that another was in the hospital. There were others who also heard that, and they were confused as to, why this other person who went to the hospital wasn't in the news anymore. There was no talk about this individual anymore. Now, some people were so curious that they actually reached out to Robin Nance from KXLY and asked her if she was misspoken when she said that 4 students were dead and another in the hospital. Now, Robin Nance responds through Messenger, and I'm unable to confirm the source of where I got this information. So I can't confirm that these screenshots are absolutely 100% authentic. So before I show you these screenshots, I just want to let you know I cannot confirm this source, and I received this from an anonymous, source. So before I show this, I can't really confirm it. So I'm going to show you the information, and You can think what you want about it. But Robin Nance appears to respond to a person's question that she possibly misspoke about there being another person in the hospital. And Robin Nance, you know, if these messages are authentic, Robin Nance responds and she says that what I said was tragedy on the U of I campus. 4 students dead, another in the hospital. Then she allegedly says in these messages that she realizes that they didn't air the part about the person going to the hospital that morning. She also says that there's a lot of pieces to this story that law enforcement isn't talking about. And she appears to confirm that in these messages. So was someone taken to the hospital that morning? We know that EMTs did show up to the house at 1122 King Road when 911 was called. Now, it's also been reported that nobody was taken by ambulance from the house. So is it possible that maybe this person who went to the hospital was taken to the hospital by private car and, you know, maybe left the crime scene before anybody else got there? You know, so nobody would have known about this person. Now, this person could either be, you know, an accomplice to the suspect. Maybe he got, you know, he or she got injured in the act of these crimes. Or it could very well be somebody who was a victim, who managed to get away from the house. If somebody did go to the hospital that morning that was in the house during the time of the crimes, it would make sense why law enforcement, you know, would keep this a secret. They wouldn't want this eyewitness to be compromised. So it would make sense that they wouldn't talk about this eyewitness because nobody would really know about this eyewitness. So it's very possible that the prosecution doesn't have any more evidence to present to the defense in discovery because maybe they feel like they don't really need it. Because it's very possible that they have an eyewitness, whether it's an accomplice to the suspect or a victim that got away from the house, as I said. That would explain why they were so confident that this was an isolated incident, isolated to this house. Because maybe they have somebody who was on the inside when these crimes occurred. Now, I guess we'll find out when the trial comes. You know, I think it's very possible that we may see a witness that we know nothing about. Now, stay tuned for my next video, and please like and please subscribe to my channel if you like my content. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.